Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video, and today I'm doing my WWE Raw preview, predictions, news and rumours for Monday Night Raw this week. The date of Monday Night Raw this week is the 23rd of June 2014, and this week's Raw is the WWE Money in the Bank 2014 Go Home Show. So, setting on with our preview this week, the first thing we need to talk about is Los Matadores. So, Art Mar of PW Insider reports that during their match on Sunday's show in Newark, Delaware, one of Los Matadores suffered what looked like a pretty serious knee injury. The crossed arms went up and out came the medical staff. So, you can pretty much write Los Matadores off this week's Monday Night Raw than probably any of the shows that are televised this week by WWE. So, the fact that Los Matadores really aren't used anymore on WTV really isn't major news at all, but just to make any fans aware that Los Matadores will not be on this week's Monday Night Raw because Fernando was injured on a house show on Sunday. F4W Online via Mark Middleton of Wrestling Inc. reports the following about Cody Rhodes' Stardust character, which actually debuted last week on Monday Night Raw, of course. The plan is that if the angle gets over, they will get a WWE Tag Team title shot at SummerSlam. If it doesn't get over, WWE changes course and will finally get the Goldust vs Cody Rhodes singles match at SummerSlam. So the fact that they're heavily trying to get this angle over and hoping it does so they can keep Cody Rhodes as Stardust does make me wonder that probably Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes and Goldust will be heavily used this week on Monday Night Raw because the gimmick was only debuted last week on Raw. So if they're planning on maybe changing the match at SummerSlam, they're not sure if it's going to be a tag team title match or they're actually going to go with Goldust and Cody Rhodes. This week and the next coming weeks, they're really going to heavily try and use Cody Rhodes to see if they can actually get Cody Rhodes over with this new gimmick. So they really don't have a lot of time to work with this. They've got to see if it gets over as quick as possible so they can start planning for that SummerSlam match. So Cody Rhodes and Goldust will probably have a big tag team match this week on Raw to see if they can see if Cody Rhodes is going to get over with his new gimmick. Also, it would be quite helpful if they can showcase Cody Rhodes' new gimmick at the pay-per-view on Sunday. So they might actually try and set up a match using the new Stardust gimmick and Goldust in a tag match against another tag team at the pay-per-view to see how the reception is for Cody Rhodes at pay-per-view level using his new gimmick. That might not happen, they might not have enough time for that, but if they do, it would be a very, very good idea to do that and use Cody Rhodes on the pay-per-view to see how well received his new gimmick is on a pay-per-view level. But if they don't do that, expect them to use Cody Rhodes' new gimmick a lot on tonight's Monday Night Raw, maybe in a big match. Vickie Guerrero has reportedly been scheduled to leave WWE in April, but that hasn't obviously happened and they're still 2 months after waiting to make Vickie Guerrero leave. According to F4W Online via pwmania.com, word coming out of Raw is that the current angle between her and the Authority last week is going to lead to her WWE departure, possibly within the next few weeks. Now, if you didn't watch Raw last week, Vickie Guerrero's coffee run last week led to Stephanie McMahon violently vomiting. Pretty much what happened was Vickie Guerrero went to make some coffee for Stephanie and Triple H, but Roman Reigns put something in it when she wasn't watching, so she gave it to Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, and Stephanie was actually sick. So apparently that's leading to some kind of angle between Vickie and the Authority where she will finally get fired. So tonight on Raw, expect her to receive some punishment for that gaffe and may possibly end up in a firing, or they'll just plant the seeds for an angle where they do fire her later on. So they might not fire her on tonight's Raw, they might just keep it going a few weeks and then fire her later down the line. But there is a word that this is going to start where Vickie Guerrero does eventually get fired. It is 2 months late, but it is about to happen in the next few weeks where Vickie Guerrero does actually get fired. The build-up for the 7-man Money in the Bank ladder match already features Seth Rollins will be a major part of Raw this week. So this week's big news is that they will have a 7-man Money in the Bank ladder match for the briefcase where they can cash it in on the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But there's only one participant so far, and that's Seth Rollins, and there is 6 other spots available. So tonight's Monday Night Raw, we should get news on who the rest or 6 of the people will be in that match. Likely entrants to join Rollins include Dean Ambrose, who of course have had a lot of build towards each other. Rollins also departed from the Shield, but also they've had a lot of build between Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And I honestly think it's a big shame that they're not having a singles match at Money in the Bank. So of course, if they want to keep this feud going, they should probably add Dean Ambrose into this match so they can add that feud into the actual Money in the Bank ladder match, which would be cool. Also, Ziggler pinning Barrett on SmackDown, and they actually had a brawl after the match, means that they may use this newfound momentum for Ziggler. Obviously, he got a win on Friday Night SmackDown, so they might use this newfound momentum Ziggler got on SmackDown, and this little small feud between Barrett and Ziggler to add interest into the ladder match by adding them both in the match. So if they add Ziggler and Barrett, who seem to have an ongoing feud, and Ziggler has a win over Barrett, and they had a little bit of a brawl, adding them both to the Money in the Bank ladder match adds an already feud that's ongoing, so it'll add a little bit more interest to that ladder match. So names you could probably tick off which will go into that ladder match include Ziggler, Barrett, and Dean Ambrose, but of course there's 3 more spots available for them to add into that match, and we're going to find out who they will be tonight on Monday Night Raw. Triple H had banned Reigns from the Battle Royal last week, yet Reigns wormed his way into the match anyway, and eventually won it. Expect WWE to possibly plant some seeds for a Reigns vs Triple H match, which will happen later down the line. They might actually possibly do an angle at Money in the Bank, where Triple H might cost Reigns the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in that main event match at Money in the Bank. So tonight on Raw, they might have an angle or a segment where Triple H says, or questions Reigns why you were actually in that match. What were you doing in that match? He might even punish Reigns by putting him up against Kane or something like that. So Reigns might get punished, and they might actually plant seeds for a match between Triple H and Reigns later down the line. It seems Naomi and Cameron are splitting. On main event last week, Naomi beat Paige, but Cameron attacked Paige after her match, and Naomi didn't save her partner when Cameron and Paige were having a brawl. Naomi just stood there in the middle of the ring. This looks like it's going towards the Funkadactyls breakup, as they both won the Divas Championship, and Naomi didn't save her partner on main event. This could lead to a triple threat Divas match at Money in the Bank, where Paige will have a 1 in 3 chance of winning back her Divas title. This would stack the deck against the Divas champion, and finally actually make an interesting Divas match. I mean, Paige really hasn't had an intriguing or interesting match or feud so far in her Divas title run. So a triple threat match would be great, and also stacks the deck up against the Young Divas champion, and I'd really be game for that. And it'll also show a breakup between the Funkadactyls, which seems like it is happening thanks to main event last week. So that's my Raw preview. Lots to happen on this week's Monday Night Raw. Thanks for watching. Take care. Spike your hair.